Hello, I'd like to invite you to discover a luminous story. At a time of great hardship and pain, Mary of Nazareth appeared to a young woman in France to bring a message that would light up the lives of many people. We want to share this story with you because Our Lady of Graces continues to act and bring light to the lives of many people who seek her help. Stay with us on this journey of light, discover this beautiful story, and at the end, let's ask Our Lady of Graces together to grant you her grace. On May 2nd, 1806, little Catherine Labour began her life here on earth. Everyone was charmed by her sweet, childlike gaze, but Catherine carried within her something even more beautiful, a humble heart that loved to serve. Her father worked on the farm, growing food, taking care of the animals, and providing for his large family. Catherine's mother worked as a teacher before she got married. Now, she had a big family with many children and devoted herself to caring for each of them all day long. She was very kind and knew how to win every heart to do good. Catherine and her sister loved listening to stories about Jesus. And that's how little Catherine received the good seeds that would later bear much fruit. As time went by, Mrs. Labour began to get sick more and more each day. When Catherine was only 8 years old, her dear mother died. Everyone in the family was very sad. Catherine felt an immense emptiness in her heart. She would miss being with her mother every single day. Until Catherine feels in her heart, Mary is our mother and never leaves us alone. She runs, climbs onto a small chair, and hugs with all her love a statue of Mary that was on the furniture. From that moment on, Mary would forever be Catherine's new mother. Without his wife and with many children, Catherine's father goes to the children's aunt. He asks her to take care of Catherine and Tanina, the youngest sister. And that's how Catherine came to live with her aunt, her sister, and 4 cousins. Catherine is now 11 years old and back at her home on the farm. She loved helping with the housework and taking care of the animals. She did everything with the purest joy in helping her family, thinking about the relief and good she could bring to her father and little siblings. Maria Luisa was the oldest sister, and Catherine knew how much she wanted to go to the convent. So, quickly, she and Tanina reassured their father, happily saying that the 2 of them could take care of the house and all the farm chores on their own. For Catherine, this wasn't a burden. What mattered was seeing her sister truly happy. After all, we've already said she loved to serve, right? She cooked, cleaned, and even took care of her younger siblings. Oh, and she never forgot about her dovecot. Catherine loved taking care of each little dove. Even with all these chores, Catherine was preparing for her first communion. She would wake up very early and walk to the little church in town to attend catechism. She walked along the cobblestone streets, and in her heart, the desire to serve in the name of Jesus grew stronger and stronger. Finally, the day of her first communion arrived. Catherine experienced this moment with deep joy, thanking Jesus for this opportunity. Even on cold and rainy days, Catherine never missed going to church. She would wake up very early to attend the first Mass, and right after, she would return to work on the farm. Catherine felt an increasing need to listen, to know, and to learn about Jesus. Catherine knew that Jesus was always present whenever she served with good intentions. When she swept the floor, when she made a nice hot soup, when she took care of her little brother, and when she prayed. In everything, Jesus was the meaning of her life. It's noon and the sun shines high in the sky. Catherine carries a basket of food to the men who work hard on her father's farm. And once again, her feeling was to offer care, to bring some relief to these men. Whenever she could, Catherine would also take her sister Tanina to church. Her little sister was amazed to see how much Catherine loved to listen to and learn about the teachings of Jesus. Catherine still accompanied her father to Sunday Mass. Mr. Labour, pleased with his daughter's company, smiles and greets all his acquaintances. He thought it wouldn't be hard to find a good husband for Catherine. Despite her father's plans, Catherine's heart was more and more filled with the desire to serve in the name of Jesus. She even tells her sister that from now on she won't eat all her food, because she could give that food to other people who didn't have any. Her little sister worries about her health. She thought Catherine might become weak and sick. Catherine reassures her, but Tanina tells their father everything. She thought he would make Catherine give up these ideas. A 15-year-old girl not eating properly for 2 days. Her father is also worried, but Catherine was determined and shows him that she was feeling strong and energetic. Since the day of her first communion, Catherine told Tanina that she wanted to serve in the name of Jesus all day long and for her whole life. Even as the years went by, she didn't change her mind. On the contrary, now that ideal burned even stronger in her soul. When she turned 19, a family from the region came to ask for her hand in marriage. Catherine was a kind, dedicated, and hard-working young woman. She had all the qualities of a good wife, but we already know how much she wanted to serve in the name of Jesus for her whole life. Very calmly, she replies that she did not want to get married. Her father doesn't insist anymore. Later, talking with her sister in a very affectionate way, Catherine explains that her heart was already completely devoted to another way of life. Some time later, Catherine had a dream. She was in the church and a priest was looking at her. He made a gesture, calling her to come to him. Not understanding what was happening, Catherine leaves the church. Still in her dream, Catherine goes to take care of a person who was sick. The same priest is there. He, lovingly, says to her, "You run from me now, my daughter, but one day you will come to me." Catherine wakes up surprised. Tanina was now grown up and able to take care of the household chores. Catherine's heart fills with hope. She goes to her father and explains that she wants to live like her sister, Maria Luisa, in a convent. Mr. Labour immediately refuses. He doesn't want to lose Catherine's company. Catherine is saddened, but she doesn't let discouragement or hurt take over her heart. She keeps working on the farm with the same spirit as before, serving thoughtfully and continuing to do good to everyone around her. Mr. Labour looks for a way to make Catherine change her mind. He thinks she needed to see other things. He then writes to one of his sons, who lived in Paris. Here was his idea: he would send Catherine to work as a helper in his son's restaurant. The father was determined and did not change his mind. Used to the peace of her home and her prayers, Catherine's daily life was about to become much more difficult. The time had come for Catherine to leave. She hugs her sister tightly, amid tears and goodbyes. Catherine knew that life in Paris would be anything but easy. The horses race quickly, speeding down the dirt road. Catherine, in silence, prays to Jesus, asking him to help her in this new chapter of her life. She knew that in times of adversity, we must nurture our trust in Jesus. Her heart remembers Mary. She felt that her dear mother would be supporting her through whatever difficulties might come. Until finally, Catherine arrived at her destination. Catherine no longer had the flower-filled fields she used to wander through. She no longer had nature, the fresh air, the silence, a perfect setting for her prayers and conversations with Mary. In the days that followed, still feeling very tired, She prayed fervently, asking for Jesus' help. At that very moment, help arrived from heaven. She began to feel more refreshed and confident. Catherine went down the stairs to start a new workday and soon ran into her brother. Charles had realized that the restaurant was not a good place for his sister. Charles thought of ways to help his little sister. Would our father agree to another arrangement? He remembered his older brother, who was married to a lady who ran an institution that educated young women. At that time, even Maria Luisa, his older sister, wrote to Catherine. She also wanted her little sister to spend some time at the Institute of Education to learn how to write, do arithmetic, and, most importantly, to study more about the teachings of Jesus. Until Catherine arrived at the Institute of Education, she couldn't hide her surprise when she saw that she would even have dance classes. She felt out of place, awkward about learning all these things. The other girls laughed at her, making fun, but Catherine wasn't offended by their teasing. In everything, she sought the teachings of Jesus and forgave. Her sister-in-law, noticing the other girls' bad behavior, started giving Catherine private lessons. And that's how she learned to read and write. Until one day, Catherine visited a house of the Daughters of Charity. Catherine looked surprised, and on the wall there was a painting of an elderly priest with a kind and gentle look. Catherine recognizes him. It's the same person from her dreams. Very moved, she asks, "Who is he?" And the superior answers, "He is our beloved Saint Vincent." After that day, Catherine tried to spend all her free time at the House of Charity, together with the other religious sisters. Even her sister, Antonina, talks to their father. She says she could take care of the house by herself and that this would truly make Catherine happy. And so, in January 1830, at the age of 23, Catherine begins her life as a Sister of Charity. Caterina begins her life as a postulant at the House of Charity. She overflows with gratitude and a joy that fills all her daily tasks. She was very dedicated and attentive to everything she needed to learn now in her new life. A short time later, Caterina was transferred to Paris. She becomes a novice and wears the same clothes as her sisters. But she knew that what mattered most was not the clothing. Always clothe our hearts with good feelings. In her prayers, Caterina has a vision of Jesus. He shows her what would happen to the King of France. She also saw Saint Vincent de Paul. She understood that the French government would go through sad changes. She told Father Aladel about these visions, seeking to understand what was happening. The priest was very surprised and told her not to think about it anymore. Day after day, the priest would say, "My daughter, let go of these imaginations." One day, she goes to sleep filled with the feeling that she would soon see her dear mother, Mary. Caterina had long wished to see her. When she was already asleep, she hears a voice calling her. She wakes up and sees a little boy who tells her, "Come to the chapel, Mary is waiting for you." She follows the boy down the dormitory hallway, a bit afraid of waking the sisters. He leads her to a chair in the chapel until the boy announces, "Mary is here." She sees a gentle lady in a silk dress approach and sit in the chair. Caterina kneels and gently rests her hands on Mary's lap, just as she used to do with her earthly mother. She is having the sweetest and most sublime encounter of her life. Mary speaks with Katerina and asks her for help with a task. Everything that was revealed to her, she should tell Father Aladel, even if he didn't believe her. Mary continues, "These are difficult times and hardships will come upon France. The throne will fall and the whole world will go through many kinds of suffering." Mary also said that people should pray, strengthen their faith, and that in doing so, many graces would be received. Katerina is moved by Mary's motherly kindness toward all her children here on earth, who, like her, could be present with us in our moments of pain. When Mary finishes speaking, the boy who was with her leads her back to her room. That night, Katerina is unable to fall back asleep. How could she sleep after experiencing the most tender and radiant moment of her life? The next day, Katerina goes to look for the priest. She tells him everything that Mary asked. He doesn't take it well and can't even listen to her attentively. However, just a few days later, several of the difficulties Katerina had mentioned begin to happen. The priest reflects. He starts to think that maybe this young woman could be telling the truth. Meanwhile, Sister Katerina waits confidently for the moment when Father Aladel would listen to Mary's words. She keeps doing each daily task as if she were doing it for her beloved mother. Her heart told her that she would see her again. Months went by, and something happened that would change not only Katerina's life, but all of ours. Sister Labour sees Mary again, and rays of light shine from her hands. Oh, what emotion Katerina felt! She understood that the lights showed the graces that Mary offered to those who asked her. She could hardly believe it. No, what she saw. A frame appears before her, surrounding Mary. It is the image of a medal. The image turns and shows the other side. Katerina is ecstatic. Mary asks her, "Make a medal with this design. All the people who wear it with confidence will receive great graces." And our sister tells the priest about Mary's request, but he doesn't pay much attention. Even so, Katerina spent her days reflecting and trusting in divine providence. In another encounter with Mary, she explains that many people forget to ask for her help. Katerina speaks to the priest again, but just like every other time, he doesn't give it much importance. Now, Katerina is officially a sister of the Daughters of Charity. She helps with very simple tasks, working in the kitchen of the nursing home. She cooks day and night. Even though it was tiring work, our sister dedicated herself as if it were the most precious service of her life. Serene and confident, she arrives at the nursing home where she would spend the rest of her life. She even takes care of the elderly themselves, with motherly love. How much feeling Katerina put into every act of care. As time went by, Father Aladel began to believe Katerina and looked for ways to fulfill Mary's request. And so, the medals were ordered. Soon, many young women began seeking out the seminary, drawn by this story. However, Katerina remained in the background. No one knew who she was. The medal began to be distributed and reached the hands of the Archbishop of Paris. Katerina received the medal at the same time as her other religious sisters. Deeply moved, but without drawing attention to herself, she kept the medal, remembering Mary's promises. Father Aladau now saw Sister Katerina in a different light. He knew that her stories revealed the truth. After 2 years, the medal became known as the Miraculous Medal because many graces were received. Meanwhile, Katerina continued to be just another sister among so many in the convent. She remained unnoticed despite all the good she had done. Our little sister received criticism and even scorn. But she knew how to respond to evil with good. Mary remained present in her prayers. She asked that Father Aladel become the founder of the Sisterhood of the Daughters of Mary, where she would continue to distribute her graces. After speaking with the priest some time later, the Association of the Daughters of Mary Immaculate was founded. Meanwhile, Katerina continued to go unrecognized as the one who brought the vision of the miraculous medal. She devoted herself to the elderly as if she were their mother, undoubtedly bringing them the love she received from Mary. And she made one last request, that a statue of her be made, holding the medal. With each passing year, Mary's graces multiplied. And for all those who carried the medal with faith and prayed for her help, the graces were granted. A few years later, Catherine fell ill and bid farewell to life on earth. Now, at last, she would not only see her beloved mother, but would also be by her side among the lights of heaven.
Mãe, cheia de graça, hoje te falo com meu coração. Me deito sobre seu colo e te entrego essa oração. Pelos caminhos da vida, nas tempestades, ser a minha melhor amiga, pois sobre o teu manto tu me abrigas. Recolhe, Mãe do céu, minha lágrima caída e transforma